So here now, the aforementioned Andrew McCarthy, former federal prosecutor and National Review contributing editor. Andy, good to see you tonight. You wrote a very interesting, lengthy piece that goes into this timeline. And, you know, for me, because this stuff, it gets pretty confusing. But one of the questions I have is whether or not the chicken or the egg came first. Because was there a reason to investigate, or did they put people in to try to stir up reasons to investigate because they were concerned that Donald Trump might win this election?
Yeah, it's something that you always have to be concerned about when you have a situation where there's informants. It's a classic to say that once you have informants in, that people have been entrapped. And you do have to wonder, because it comes down in every case where there is an informant, were people predisposed to do bad things, or was this manufactured by the government? Or
were they poking at some soft spots with Carter Page and George Papadopoulos and saying, like, you know, these are the low-hanging fruit, perhaps, in this foreign policy team, and we've raised some questions, so why don't you go in there and offer them some dirt on Hillary Clinton, and we'll see what happens?
Yeah, well, I think we have a norm, right? People ask all the time, could they was it legal to put an informant in there or a spy? When I was a prosecutor, we called them informants, and the defense lawyer said they were spies. That's how it goes. But we actually have a political or a constitutional norm where we don't, in law enforcement or intelligence, bother the electoral process unless there's a really good reason. Yeah. So I think when you get down to the end of it, there's no law that says you can't send an informant virtually anywhere. So what we're going to get down to in the end is, did they have a good reason to be worried? And if they did have a good reason to be worried, was it an appropriate response to say, I'm now going to look at the Trump campaign as if they're in a conspiracy with Russia? Or would it have been more appropriate to say, they may have a few rotten apples in there. Let's see if we can either interview the rotten apples and see how rotten they really are, or maybe we should tip off somebody in the campaign and ask them, you know, to be careful.
I mean, that's one of the things I find so interesting. And I was asking them, because you talk about this NSC meeting, President Obama, Susan Rice, Jim Clapper. It's possible, I think you weren't 100% sure whether Brennan was in that particular meeting.
Yeah, the House Intelligence Committee has this in their report. Yeah. And they don't say exactly who was at the meeting, so we look at who was in the Obama National Security Council. But the interesting thing about this, Martha, is they put the time frame here, which I find very peculiar. One of the things that should be pretty easy to know is, what date did a National Security Council principals meeting happen? Everybody who's asked about it says, it's like late spring. And that gets my antennas up when they don't want to tell you when something happened, right?
Why is that timetable so important?
Well, this is months before Carter Page goes to Russia, right, which we had been told was the original origination story of what got everybody all whipped up for the investigation, right? And then the next thing we heard was Papadopoulos. Well, they didn't know about Papadopoulos until July, August, right? This meeting where they talk about Carter Page in the National Security Council happens, according to them, in late spring. Now, what's happened before that they'd be talking about Carter Page, of all people, in a National Security Council meeting? Carter Page joined the Trump campaign on March 21st. Manafort joined it on March 29th. Right. Doesn't look like there was anything there in the interim other than they have concerns about these people who have Russia baggage.
Which gets me back to this question, because there was a conversation, according to your report, that they said, should we have a defensive briefing? Right. Should we call the Trump campaign in and say, look, let's put it on the table. Here's what we know about Carter Page. He was, they attempted to recruit him at some point. Then he ended up, coming onto their side. Russia tried to recruit him, and then he came onto to the intelligence side in the U.S. Why did they not do that? Well, if they were so worried about the infiltration of Russia affecting our election, why didn't they do that?
I think it's a very good question. You would think that they would take a step or two or three back from saying, two bad guys have joined the campaign, maybe three if you want to throw Gates in because he has some Russia baggage too. So I'm going to assume that they must be in an espionage conspiracy with Putin to steal the election. I mean, it doesn't work that way. And I think in a normal prosecutor's office or a normal investigator's office or a normal place where they do intelligence analysis, you would not go from, you know, a few disturbing facts to DEFCON 1. I mean, it just doesn't happen that way. So what you have to wonder is, were they truly concerned? Sounds like they had grounds to be concerned. And did they at the same time perceive this is something that could be really politically useful as we go down? An
insurance policy of sorts.
Well, that's what we heard, right?
Andy, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
Good to see you.
Andy McCarthy.